Welcome back to Orange Blossom Healing, the channel where I am excited to help you feel better with diet and lifestyle. Today we are going to be making some delicious loaded fries, and we're going to be talking all about the importance of relationships. This is an awesome sharing food, and what is Christmas about if not sharing? So if that sounds good to you, stick around and let's go. To kick us off today, I have cut 4 sweet potatoes into chip shape, and I just have them in this transparent bowl here because it's easy to see. And all I'm gonna do is dress these sweet potatoes and just massage in some spices and put those in the oven to bake. So to my sweet potatoes, I am adding 2 teaspoons of garlic granules, 2 heaped teaspoons of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of Celtic sea salt, 2 tablespoons of buckwheat flour. You don't need to use buckwheat, you can use any flour. I'm just using that because it's gluten-free. And about 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. You can use your fat of choice today, but I'm going to be cooking these on a low heat in the oven, so olive oil works just fine. So whilst I am just mixing these spices into the sweet potatoes before I put them on to bake, I want to talk to you a little bit more about the importance of having people around us and how that affects our health. For example, did you know that you are 50% more likely to die prematurely if you don't have strong relationships? That means that the risk that comes from not having strong relationships in your life is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And it poses a higher risk than that of being obese. I was shocked when I found out this statistic, but it makes sense. If you go back to our ancestors, they always lived in groups or tribes and worked together for a common goal. And we've lost that in our society, where we have become very independent creatures to the point where we can literally stay at home and order food and anything else that we might need to our doorstep without interacting with a single person. The benefit of this community living and tribal way of living increases our self-esteem, our self-worth, our confidence, our mental health, and many other things. Of course, these relationships can be with the people closest to you. For example, studies show that married people have a longer life expectancy and generally have better mental health and physical health than people that aren't married. But it's also relationships with other members of our family, with friends, and with the community around us that really count. Once you think that you have your spices mixed in really well, then you can lay either baking paper or use nothing, whatever you prefer, depending on your tray, and bake these in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. On top of my loaded fries, I'm going to make a little medley of vegetables. So I have a couple of red peppers, some baby tomatoes, and a small red onion. And I also have a teaspoon of paprika, smoked paprika, and a teaspoon of garlic granules again. And I'm going to salt and pepper to taste. And this is to load on top of my fries. If you wanted to be a little bit more protein heavy, you could include chicken or tofu here. But otherwise, I find the vegetable option delicious on its own. So I'm cooking with olive oil because I'm going to keep everything quite low heat. And the first thing that I'm going to get in the pan to just soften is the red onion. Studies show that the quality of your relationships at age 30 are a predictor of your wellness and health at age 50. So depending on what age you're at, think about who you're surrounding yourself with, or maybe who you did surround yourself with and how that's worked out. There is solid evidence, and I'll link everything in the description below, that community engagement interventions have a positive impact on a range of health conditions. When you're lonely and not surrounded by people, your white blood cells actually change their behavior, leading to increased inflammation and a weakened immune response. Inflammation leads to disease, as we know, and if your immunity is weakened, then you have no way of fighting it. As my onion begins to bubble a little in the pan, I'm just going to add in my other ingredients. So I'm going to add in my tomatoes and my peppers. I'm also going to add in my spices at this point. So my smoked paprika and my garlic granules, a little salt, and some black pepper. We are also making a chili sauce for these loaded fries, so we don't need to add tons of spice with the black pepper. And this vibrant mix of antioxidants and lycopene will not only add nutrition and colour to the loaded fries, Christmassy colour especially, but they will also add a really nice balance for the chili and spice that we're going to add after, because this part is a really sweet part of the dish. You may feel that with an online community you are connected and not lonely, but don't underestimate the value of physical touch and physical presence with another person. Studies have shown that vagus activity increases with physical touch, meaning that we reduce cortisol, the stress hormone. Physical touch also increases the body's production of serotonin, which is the body's personal antidepressant, making us feel happy. Simple touch, like a handshake or a pat on the back, show compassion and empathy and help to grow community. Primates groom each other, and when they're deprived of touch, they become aggressive. As humans, we're not so dissimilar. In the 1960s, a study was carried out on friends having conversations with each other in different countries all over the world. The researcher observed these conversations in cafes in each location, so a very relaxed, friendly environment. And he found that in England, the two friends speaking at the cafe touched each other a total of 0 times. In the United States, in bursts of enthusiasm, the friends touched each other twice. In France, the number shot up to 110 times per hour. And in Puerto Rico, the two friends touched each other a total of 180 times. It's no coincidence that Puerto Rico is considered one of the happiest places to live on the planet. Physical touch also signals safety and trust, and it soothes. Basic warm touch calms cardiovascular stress. It activates the body's vagus nerve, as I said before, which is intimately involved with our compassionate response. And a simple touch can trigger release of oxytocin, aka the love hormone. Check out my other video all about oxytocin to find out why we want so much of this. So to make the chili sauce, I have got 1 200-gram jar of jalapenos, and I also have 4 red chilies. Do not touch your eyes. I made the mistake of doing that whilst I was de-seeding them, and it burns. I also have 2 garlic cloves, and I'm adding in a teaspoon of Celtic sea salt, 2 tablespoons of honey. You could use sugar, but I prefer not to use sugar in my recipes just because I know that it is so inflammatory, and honey is super sweet and works just the same. And 100 ml of apple cider vinegar. And you just want to blend that up and transfer it to a bowl where you can mix in a couple of tablespoons of mayonnaise. I like to use this 100% avocado oil mayonnaise just so that I know that it is clean of any additives or any inflammatory oils, but use a mayo of your choice. And that's just going to make it super creamy, ready to go on top of your chips. And the only other thing we need is some cheese to melt on the top of our fries. So I have the fries out of the oven, nice and warm. And I'm going to plate some up in this bowl and dress them with all of the delicious things that we have looked at today. I love this dish because it is so easy to share, so to build those relationships that we've been talking about. And some other really easy ways to build community and relationships is simply to say hello to people when you're out and about. So just chat to people, get involved in community projects, maybe get yourself an allotment and meet people that way. Volunteer, take up a new hobby, extend and accept invitations. There are so many ways to get involved with relationships, and it doesn't have to be somebody that you marry or somebody that becomes your best friend to have an impact on your health. So this Christmas, try to make a new connection and also try to strengthen at least one of your relationships. We have our sweet potato fries, which are full of vitamin A and nutrients to help us build progesterone. They are so nutritious, one of nature's most nutritious foods. And we are going to top them up with our smoked paprika flavor vegetables, our red pepper and our tomatoes. We are going to sprinkle on some gorgeous grated cheese so that can start to melt. We are going to drizzle our super spicy sauce. And then I really recommend for a topping, because it just tastes great and looks great, some spring onion and some fresh ripped coriander. And there you have it, a dish that is perfect for sharing. Grab a fork or a spoon and share this dish with friends to build your relationships this Christmas. Wishing you the very merriest of Christmases with your loved ones around you. May you build new relationships and strengthen the ones that you already have. I'll see you in the new year. Take care.